I realized I was in trouble when the bus didn't turn left at the bridge like it always does. It kept driving straight into the dark, and the destination sign flickered from downtown to a word that doesn't exist on any map: Terminus. The 402 bus route is a line that doesn't technically exist after midnight, but if you stand at the corner of 4th and Clay at exactly 12:41 a.m., the headlights will eventually cut through the fog. Liam was a man of routine. His life was a neat schedule of data entry and transit times. So when the transit app on his phone glitched out one Tuesday night, showing a dead gray line where his route should be, he didn't panic. Technology fails. The biting November cold, however, was very real. When the bus finally pulled up, it looked normal enough, except the lights inside were a dim, sickly amber. Liam tapped his card. The reader flashed a silent green, and he sat down. He was the only passenger. The driver was just a silhouette behind the plexiglass partition, a statue at the wheel. For the first 10 minutes, everything was familiar. The shuttered grocery stores, the flickering street lamps of the industrial district. But then, the bus missed a turn. It didn't head for the bridge like it always did. It just kept driving straight, deeper into a part of the city Liam had never seen before. The buildings here were tall, windowless monoliths of dark, uniform stone. Liam pulled out his phone. The GPS was a lonely blue pulse on a completely white screen. No streets, no labels. Just him, hovering in a digital void. He got up to speak to the driver, but as he did, the electronic sign at the front of the bus flickered. It didn't display the next stop. It just read, Terminus. The bus began to slow down. Outside, the world had transformed. There were no streetlights, only a thick, unnatural fog that swallowed the bus's headlights whole. With a rhythmic hiss of air, the bus came to a halt. The doors folded open with a heavy thud. Liam peered out and saw a single concrete platform. Beyond it, there was nothing but a flat, gray expanse that looked like an unfinished basement stretching into infinity. No signs, no benches, no exit, just a platform. He glanced at the rearview mirror, and his blood ran cold. The driver wasn't looking at the road. He was staring directly at Liam, his eyes fixed and unblinking. He didn't speak. He didn't gesture. He just waited. A primal fear screamed at Liam to stay on the bus. He sank back into his seat, his knuckles white as he gripped the rail in front of him. After a minute of deafening silence, the doors hissed shut and the bus pulled away. Relief washed over him as he watched the Terminus stop vanish into the gray. He'd made the right choice. But the relief didn't last. The bus didn't return to the city. It just drove through the same featureless corridors of stone. And then, the sign flickered again. Terminus. The bus slowed, pulling up to the exact same platform. The doors opened. The silence was absolute. It was then that Liam understood. This wasn't a detour. It was a loop. He looked at the driver again. This time, the driver's hand was hovering over the door lever, waiting. Liam looked at the desolate platform. It was terrifying, but it was still. This bus, with its amber glow and silent observer, felt like a cage that was slowly shrinking. A horrific thought entered his mind. The longer he stayed, the more he became part of the bus's permanent inventory. His legs shaking, he stood and walked to the open door. He expected the driver to say something to stop him, but there was only the low idle of the engine. Liam stepped off onto the cold concrete. The door slammed shut instantly. The bus didn't just pull away. It accelerated with an impossible silent speed, its taillights vanishing into the fog in a heartbeat. He was alone. He walked to the edge of the platform, searching for a way down, but there was no edge. The concrete simply became a hard, gray earth that felt like packed ash. He started walking in the direction the bus had gone, his coat pulled tight against a wind that carried no scent, no sound. It felt like hours passed. Then, in the far distance, he saw a single point of light. He ran towards it, his breath tearing at his lungs. As he got closer, the shape became agonizingly familiar. It was a bus stop, a real one. He recognized the cracked glass of the shelter, the faded graffiti on the bench. It was a corner of 4th and Clay. He was back, The streetlights buzz and the distant sound of traffic was the most beautiful music he'd ever heard. He collapsed onto the bench and wept the raw, shuddering sobs of someone who had just escaped a drowning. A few minutes later, another bus pulled up, the real one. The driver was a woman drinking coffee, who gave him a mildly annoyed look as he boarded. Liam sat right at the front, surrounded by 3 other passengers, a construction worker, a woman in scrubs, and a teenager with headphones. He had never been more grateful for the quiet company of strangers. He made it home, locked his door, and didn't leave his apartment for 3 days. It wasn't until a week later, when he finally felt brave enough to return to work, that he reached into his coat pocket for his transit card. His fingers brushed against something else. He pulled out a small, rectangular piece of cardstock. It wasn't his plastic pass. It was an old paper ticket, yellowed and brittle, like something from 40 years ago. There was no company logo, no price, no date. Just one word, printed in heavy black ink, redeemed. Liam doesn't take the bus anymore. He walks, even in the rain, even when it's late. Because sometimes, when he passes a corner of 4th and Clay at 12:41 a.m., he sees a bus with dimmed amber lights idling at the curb. And he knows, with a certainty that chills him to the bone, that if he ever looks at his destination sign, he'll see his own name where the street names used to be. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more strange tales. Stay safe out there.